Hey folks, welcome back to Midlife Crits. This is Cornell, and I'm here with the Survival Hunter talent review. And also, since it's now active since the last one of these videos I made, I'm going to also cover the Warmode talent. So let's just dive right on in. At level 15, you get Viper's Venom, Terms of Engagement, or Alpha Predator. Viper's Venom is a passive. Raptor Strike has a chance to make your next Serpent Sting cost no focus and deal an additional 300% initial damage. Terms of Engagement. Passive. Harpoon deals 1,427 physical damage and generates 40 focus over 10 seconds. Killing an enemy resets the cooldown of Harpoon. Alpha Predator. The passive as well. Kill Command now has 2 charges and deals 30% increased damage. As you can see in this tier, I chose Terms of Engagement. Level 3, you have Guerrilla Tactics, Hydra's Bite, and Butchery. Gorilla's Bite is a passive. Wildfire Bomb now has 2 charges, and the initial explosion deals 100% increased damage. Hydra's Bite is a passive. Serpent Sting fires arrows at 2 additional enemies near your target, and its damage over time is increased by 10%. And Butchery costs 20% focus, is an instant cast with an 8-yard range and a 13-second recharge. Strike all nearby enemies in a flurry of strike, inflicting 888 physical damage to each. At level 45, you have Trailblazer, Natural Mending, and Camouflage. Trailblazer is a passive. Your movement speed is increased by 30% anytime you have not attacked in 3 seconds. Natural Mending, which is shared across the other specs as well, is a passive. Every 20 focus you spend reduces the remaining cooldown on Exhilaration by 1 second. And finally, Camouflage, also is shared across a couple of the other specs. Is an instant with a 1-minute cooldown. You and your pet blend into the surroundings and gain stealth for 1 minute. While Camouflage, you will heal for 2% of maximum health every 1 second. At level 60, you have Bloodseeker, Steel Trap, and a Murder of Crows. Bloodseeker is a passive. Kill Command causes the target to bleed for 551 damage over 8 seconds. You and your pet gain 10% attack speed for every bleeding enemy within 12 yards. Steel Trap, 40-yard range, instant cast with a 30-second cooldown, hurls a steel trap to the target location that snaps shut on the first enemy that approaches, immobilizing them for 30 seconds and causing them to bleed for 4,948 damage over 30 seconds. Damage other than steel trap may break the immobilization effect. Limit 1 trap will exist for 1 minute. A Murder of Crows. 30 focus, instant cast with a 40-yard range and a 1-minute cooldown. Summons a flock of crows to attack your target, dealing 6,496 physical damage over 15 seconds. If the target dies while under attack, a Murder of Crows cooldown is reset. At level 75, you have Born to be Wild, Post Haste, and Binding Shot. Born to be Wild is a passive. The cooldown of Aspect of the Eagle, Aspect of the Cheetah, and Aspect of the Turtle is reduced by 20%. Post Haste, another passive. Disengage allows also... Sorry, let me start at the end. Post Haste, passive. Disengage also frees you from all movement impairing effects and increases your movement speed by 50% for 4 seconds. Binding Shot, 30-yard range, instant cast with a 45-second cooldown. Fires a magical projectile tethering the enemy and any other enemies within 5 yards for 10 seconds, rooting them in place for 5 seconds if they move more than 5 yards from the arrow. Level 90, you have Tip of the Spear, Mongoose Bite, and Flanking Strike. Tip of the Spear is a passive. Kill Command increases the damage of your next Raptor Strike by 15%, stacking up to 3 times. Mongoose Bite replaces Raptor Strike, 30 focus, instant within melee range. A brutal attack that deals 755 physical damage and grants you Mongoose Fury. Mongoose Fury increases the damage of Mongoose Bite by 20% for 14 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Successive attacks do not increase duration. Flanking Strike, 15-yard range, instant cast with a 40-second cooldown. You and your pet leap to the target and strike as one, dealing a total of 2,010 physical damage, generates 30 focus for you and your pet. And at level 100 you have Birds of Prey, Wildfire Infusion, and Chakrams. Birds of Prey is a passive. Raptor striking your pet's target extends the duration of coordinated assault by 1 second. Wildfire Infusion, which even Belluar really had some high praise for this talent, and I do too. It sounds fantastic. Wildfire Infusion, passive. Lace your Wildfire Bomb with extra regions, randomly giving it one of the following enhancements each time you throw it. Shrapnel Bomb. Shrapnel pierces the targets, causing Raptor Strike and Butchery to apply a bleed for 9 seconds that stacks up to 3 times. Pheromone Bomb. Kill command has a 100% chance to reset against targets coated with pheromones. Volatile Bomb. Reacts violently with poison, causing an extra explosion against enemies suffering from your Serpent Sting and refreshes your Serpent Stings. And finally we have Chakrams. 30 focus cost, 40 yard range, instant with its 20-second cooldown. Throw a pair of Chakrams at your target, slicing all enemies in the Chakram's path for 1,224 physical damage. The Chakrams will return to you, damaging enemies again. Your primary target takes 100% increased damage. And let's go ahead and turn Warmode on. And let's see. The first PvP talent slot, you have Adaptation, replaces Honorable Medallion. It's a passive, removes any loss of control effect with a duration of 5 seconds or more. This effect can only occur once every 1 minute. Relentless replaces Honorable Medallion. Duration of incoming crowd control effects reduced by 20%, does not stack with similar effects. Gladiator's Medallion removes all movement impairing effects and all effects which cause loss of control of your character while in PvP combat. Personally, I like Adaptation. And there are several PvP talents that will be active at all times during War Mode. Hunting Pack. Passive. Reduces the cooldown of your Aspect of the Cheetah by 50%. And Aspect of the Cheetah also causes all allies within 15 yards to gain 90% movement speed for 3 seconds. Mending Bandage. 15-yard range. Channeled. 25-second cooldown. Instantly clears all bleeds, poisons, and diseases from the target. And heals for 30% damage over 6 seconds. Being attacked will stop you from using Mending Bandage. Roar of Sacrifice. 40-yard range. Instant cast with 1 minute cooldown. Instructs your pet to protect a friendly target from critical strikes, making attacks against that target unable to be critical strikes. But 20% of all damage taken by that target is also taken by the pet. Lasts 12 seconds. Sticky Tar. Enemies who stand in your tar trap for 3 seconds have their gear coated with tar, slowing melee attack speed by 50% for 5 seconds. That's pretty neat. Tracker's Net. 40-yard range, instant cast, 10-second cooldown. Hurl a net at your enemy, rooting them for 6 seconds. While within the net, the target's chance to hit is reduced by 80%. Any damage will break the net. Diamond Ice. Passive. Victims of Freezing Trap can no longer be damaged or healed. Freezing Trap is now undispellable, but has a 5-second duration. Again, good one there. High Explosive. 40-yard range. Instant. 40-second cooldown. Hurls a fire trap to the target location that explodes when an enemy approaches, causing 719 fire damage and knocking all enemies away. The trap will exist for 1 minute. Survival Tactics. Passive. Feign Death removes all harmful effects and reduces damage taken by 99% for 1.5 seconds. Spider Sting. 40-yard range, instant cast, 45-second cooldown. Stings the target with potent spider venom for 4 seconds, causing their next offensive spell cast to silence the target for 4 seconds. Scorpion Sting. 40-yard range, instant cast, 24-second cooldown. Stings the target, reducing their physical critical strike chance by 50% for 8 seconds. Dragon Scale Armor. Passive. Magical damage over time effects deal 20% less damage to you. And finally, Viper Sting. 40-yard range, instant with a 30-second cooldown. Stings the target, reducing their healing done by 30% for 6 seconds. Viper Sting is removed if the target casts a non-instant cast healing spell. So, the ones I am probably going to choose is Scorpion Sting, Dragon Scale Armor, and hunting pack. So there are the changes to the survival spec. Sorry it took me a little bit longer to get this one out. I've been really busy this past week. But I appreciate everyone. And I, again, shout out to LSR for allowing me to purchase that BlizzCon ticket from you. I appreciate that. So yes, folks, I will be at BlizzCon. Let me know what you think of these videos down below in the comments. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And we do have a Patreon. You'll also find that link down below in the description. If you feel like giving to us there, I will gladly I'll begin creating some exclusive content, potentially, maybe even once the community tab is implemented, if it's implemented in BFA, I will possibly do a Patreon community night where I group up with patrons. So, I'm Cornell, this is Midlife Crits, and we will see you on the couch.